everyone, and welcome to day 7 of my horror movie review marathon, and I've got the Changeling 1980 movie review. Amidst a tragedy, a man relocates to a house that might be haunted. But is that enough to make this movie scary? As far as the story goes, this 1980 horror film is one of many movies that was released during a time when this genre was actually increasingly popular, with movies that are considered classics such as The Shining, Friday the 13th, The Fog, Prom Night, etc. What makes this movie one to stand out is that it doesn't come off like your typical horror movie that, you know, contains blood and gore and a weapon-wielding antagonist. Now, from the opening scene to the events that follow, I was already starting to feel that sense of an unnerving fear after the main character enters this creepy old house, and it reminded me of the movie The Haunting, which makes this movie also a ghost story in a way. And I liked how, it's sort of like a slow burn, but in a good way, especially when it comes off, like it's set during the winter time, and then, that's also kind of like what happened with The Shining, so I can definitely see some inspiration here, as well as inspired by many other films, but I think it's quite a gem in a way, and this is the first time I'm literally seeing and hearing about this movie, so I think it was pretty impressive with, how the story was being told. Now, as far as the casting goes, you've got George C. Scott, who plays this composer who had lost his wife and child in this accident that makes you feel for his character, and you start to see his state of mind, and especially when he is moving from the city to the countryside, and that affects his personality, which reminds me of how Jack Torrance was like in The Shining, but with less of an urge to kill someone. And he's got the help of Trish Van Devere, who plays Claire, and she was the one that found this house for him, and that's where he claims that there is this ghost boy that is haunting him, and he sort of has this connection to this house, which is also why this movie reminded me of The Haunting, as well as also The Shining. I mean, The Shining definitely, I feel like, plays a huge role with the inspiration of this movie. Like I said, you see how well they interact with one another, and the things that I liked about this movie was that the musical score made my heart race. I think it is one of the best things about this movie and really set the tone for the movie, as well as the camera work did a pretty good job at sort of making things seem really freaky and making you feel like you are this guy having to deal with all of these different things in his life. And it was chilling and left me wanting to see more and wondering, okay, what is around each corner of this house or in the shadows? It was just really freaky to see this ghost story being told, and how they were going to try to communicate with this ghost, and how this was all sort of going to connect with this one guy's life. But unfortunately, the things that I didn't really like about this movie was that the third act was well choreographed, but some parts looked weird to me, and certain elements of horror really made no sense at all. It didn't appear to me that there were any like special effects at all some of the elements of horror didn't quite work as well as they should. But overall, this movie is still pretty impressive, and I'm really glad that I got a chance to see it, and I think it's a very underrated film. So I would recommend seeing this movie. I think you would enjoy watching it. So I would give this 3.5 hearts on the heart rate scale. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of The Changeling 1980, and come back tomorrow for day 8 of my horror movie review marathon. And as always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates, come back every week for a Trial Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, and I will see you guys later.